The story begins with a man named Sunny who leaves his home and comes to a big city looking for work as a mechanic. After a long day of travel, exhausted, when he finally reaches a repair shop for an interview, he finds out the job has already been given to someone else. He tells himself that no matter how big the struggles are, if you don't give up, there's always a way forward. But the news still hits him hard. He doesn't even have enough money to get a motel room, so he ends up spending the entire night on a bench by the side of the street. Sunny makes up his mind, no matter what happens, by morning he'll figure something out and he won't quit. Deep down, he still holds on to hope that coming to the big city means something will change. By morning, maybe he'll find a solution, maybe even a decent place to stay. He sits down on a bench and tries to fall asleep right there. On the other side, we see an older man named George walking toward his car. Suddenly, he gets this uneasy feeling, like someone might be following him, and that feeling isn't wrong. A thief has been trailing him, and the moment George reaches his car, the man attacks him. George feels a surge of strength and immediately fights back. The thief is trying to rob him, and George struggles to defend himself, but the attacker is stronger, and now George is starting to lose control of the situation. Sunny, who's been watching everything from a distance while sitting on the bench, realizes the fight is getting serious. Without thinking twice, he rushes in to help the older man. He pushes past his fear and steps in, ready to fight. After taking a few hits, the thief panics and runs off. George thanks Sunny for helping him, and right around that time, the police arrive. George explains what just happened and tells them that if Sunny hadn't been there, he probably wouldn't have made it. While he's saying this, his wife Lisa also shows up, and he introduces everyone. There's a mix of concern and curiosity in her eyes. Lisa is young and strikingly beautiful. Both the officer and Sunny are surprised to see her. The same question crosses their minds. How could someone so young be George's wife? Anyway, George is extremely grateful to Sunny and wants to repay him, so he invites him over for dinner at his house. During dinner, George asks about Sunny's background. Sunny honestly shares his story, helping George understand his determination and hard work. Sunny explains that he has no family, that he grew up in an orphanage and came to the big city just to find a job. He tells him he's a mechanic by trade. He goes on to say that he had an interview earlier that morning and even passed it, but didn't get the job because it had already been offered to someone else. George, who owns his own auto shop, listens carefully and says being a mechanic is a solid skill. He believes anyone who works hard and puts in the right effort deserves a chance. He tells Sunny that he's actually been looking for a mechanic himself, so why not start working at his shop? He offers him good pay and even a place to stay. Just like that, all of Sunny's problems begin to fall into place. What more could he ask for? He accepts the offer immediately. Sunny is shown to his room, but it quickly becomes clear that Lisa is not happy about him being there. She asks George if Sunny is going to be living with them now. Her tone makes it obvious she feels uneasy about Sunny. Hearing this, Sunny feels uncomfortable. He starts wondering if accepting the offer was a mistake. Still, he pushes those thoughts aside, goes to sleep, and the next morning, he starts working at the auto shop, determined to prove himself. George likes his attitude. When George shows him a few unfinished projects in the shop that he hasn't been able to complete, Sunny makes up his mind. He's going to work hard, finish everything, and prove his worth. And around this time, George also shows Sunny a car that means a lot to him. He's been restoring it for Lisa. He's been working on it for a long time. Sunny can clearly see the effort and dedication George has put into the car, and he fully commits himself to it as well. Even then, the car still isn't finished. Seeing it, Sunny gets excited and promises George that he'll complete it soon. Time passes, and we see Sunny working hard. With every new part he installs, his confidence keeps growing, and his enthusiasm deepens day by day. Watching his dedication, both George and Lisa start to appreciate him. His hard work brings more business into the shop, which makes George even more satisfied. Sunny realizes that his effort and commitment are slowly earning George and Lisa's trust. He also notices that Lisa is always watching him. Whether she's happy or upset, she doesn't show much emotion, but now, whenever she looks at him, Sunny finds himself smiling back. At night, he notices Lisa watching him from her bedroom window, and a small suspicion starts to form. Maybe she's beginning to like him. As they keep looking at each other, something starts to grow between them. Slowly, even the silence between them begins to fade. One day, when Sunny is staring at Lisa from behind, she gets irritated and turns to him. She asks what his problem is, and why he keeps looking at her like that. Sunny gathers himself, thinking he needs to control his feelings and avoid any misunderstanding. She warns him that if she ever catches him staring like that again, she'll have him fired immediately. After she leaves, Sunny keeps thinking about her for hours. Later that night, during dinner, George asks Sunny to bring some wine glasses from the kitchen. Sunny feels that this growing closeness is pulling them near, but he still tries to stay in control. In the kitchen, he sees Lisa washing dishes. He's standing very close to her. He can't hold himself back anymore and reaches out to touch her. Lisa doesn't stop him, but before anything can happen, they hear George's voice from outside, and Sunny quickly steps away and leaves. End of travel parking. That night, in his room, Sunny feels deeply ashamed of what happened in the kitchen. He keeps wondering what Lisa must think about him now. He decides that from now on, he'll control his emotions and desires more carefully and avoid making any wrong moves. The next day, we see him browsing an auto parts website when he realizes that the missing part for their car is finally available. He rushes to tell George, who gets excited and immediately leaves to go pick it up. Watching George's excitement, Sunny feels his own motivation double. As soon as George leaves, Lisa comes over to Sunny and starts talking to him privately. Their conversation brings them closer again. Sometime later, George returns with the part they needed. George and Sunny work on the car for hours, and finally, they complete it. Now that the car is finished, the excitement and happiness are clearly visible on everyone's faces. The car runs perfectly. George is thrilled because he wants to gift it to Lisa. Lisa is also excited after receiving the car, and both George and Sunny are happy. That night, they celebrate finishing the car, with George and Sunny sitting together and having drinks. Lot changes now. Since George is an older man, after drinking too much, he falls asleep pretty quickly. Once he's asleep, Sunny gets another opportunity. He thinks to himself that now he needs to take full advantage of this moment and move carefully. As he gets closer to Lisa and eventually lies beside her, he asks why she never told him why she married George. This time, Lisa agrees to answer. She tells him she married George for his money. Then she admits that after some time, when Sunny came into her life, she started to like him. Sunny feels like Lisa has finally opened her heart to him, and his happiness feels endless. She goes on to say that now she feels like she should be with him, not George. Hearing those words, Sunny is overwhelmed with joy. He can't contain it. It's the first time in his life that someone has confessed their love to him. The next day arrives, and George takes Sunny out to his farmland. Sunny notices how important this land is. It reflects George's hard work and investment, and he knows he needs to give it his full effort too. The land is already very fertile. It's valuable, and in the near future, a highway is going to be built nearby, which will double its worth. George's plan is to build a racing track near the highway, so he can make a lot of money. Hearing all this, Sunny is deeply impressed, and later, he shares everything with Lisa. He realizes this information could play an important role in what comes next. It turns out, George is even richer than Lisa had imagined. But now there's a problem. She doesn't want to spend such a long life with George. To her, staying with him feels like wasting time. Even with all the wealth, she wants to live her life with Sunny, a life she's always dreamed of. Lisa understands that whatever they plan next will require perfect timing and caution, so the two of them come up with a plan to get rid of George. Sunny, who has years of experience working in an auto shop, uses his knowledge to design a trap. The next day, he shows it to Lisa. He assures her that the plan is safe and effective. He connects a tractor to a pulley system inside the shop. When the pulley is pulled, the tractor drops down and it can kill whoever is underneath. To demonstrate, he places a watermelon under the machine and shows her how it works. He explains that if they kill George this way, it will look like an accident and no one will suspect anything. Everything is set. Now they just need to carry out the plan as soon as possible. They decide that George will be killed inside the garage. According to the plan, Sunny will bring the tractor inside and Lisa will be responsible for pulling the lever from behind. Sunny uses both his hands and his mind to make sure everything will happen at the right moment. The next morning, he brings George into the garage and tells him there's an issue with the tractor that he can't figure out. Both of them get under the tractor and start working on it. As soon as Sunny sees his chance, he quietly moves away. At that exact moment, Lisa pulls the lever from the other side, releasing the mechanism. The tractor drops down onto George and everything happens exactly as planned. George dies instantly under the weight. During the process, Sunny also injures his hand and can't move away properly. Lisa wants to help him, but Sunny tells her it's better if she leaves the house right now. He says her being there could raise suspicion. Sunny immediately calls the police and reports the incident. Holding his injured hand down, he explains everything as if it were an accident. The police arrive at the scene, and shortly after, Lisa returns, pretending in front of everyone that she has just learned about George's death. But Lisa makes a mistake. When she comes back, she isn't carrying anything with her. Her behavior also feels exaggerated, and the detective starts to sense that something isn't right. He realizes that staying alert is the key to this case, and immediately begins a deeper investigation. At first, it seemed like an accident, but now it's starting to look like a possible murder. The investigation begins with Sunny, who was present at the scene. Sunny confidently tells the detective a fabricated story, saying the lever malfunctioned, the chain system failed, and the tractor fell on them. He explains that George died in the accident, and he himself was injured in the process. The detective notices several suspicious points in Sunny's story, but there isn't enough evidence yet. He doesn't fully believe Sunny, but without proof, they can't take legal action against him. After George's funeral, Sunny and Lisa start living together. They begin working on George's plan and start building the racing track on his land. Just as George had predicted, a highway is constructed near their property, and the value of the land doubles. Their racing track is finally complete. Races begin, and they start making a lot of money. Now both of them are happy and satisfied, living a comfortable life together. Sunny feels that their hard work and patience efforts are finally paying off. One day, Lisa tells Sunny that she's pregnant. Sunny is overjoyed. With this news, they begin planning their future. They both think they need to be even more careful now to protect their lives, but they don't realize their problems aren't over yet. Even after 6 months, the police are still watching them. They're continuing the investigation. When the medical report comes in, the police discover that the tractor had fallen on George twice. Sunny clearly denies it and says he already told them everything he saw, but now Sunny begins to understand that there's something deeper hidden in his relationship with Lisa. Then the detective shows him a video of Lisa that they found. In the video, she's practicing dropping something, the lever, and that becomes clear evidence that the two of them planned George's murder. But since there's no direct evidence against Sunny, they can't arrest him. Sunny realizes that the police will now be watching his every move. He also understands that the evidence is mainly against Lisa, and action will likely be taken against her. That means Lisa and their child could be in danger. Thinking about all this, Sunny becomes deeply worried. Lisa notices and asks him why he's been so stressed lately, what's bothering him, especially now when their child is on the way. She tells him this should be the start of a new life for them, but Sunny doesn't respond. Guilt starts to take over him. He knows he killed a man just to live this life. He feels mentally and emotionally trapped by his own decision. There's always this fear inside him that one day the police will show up and arrest them. One day, that fear and guilt finally push him to act. He decides to go tell the detective the truth. He goes to the police station and confesses his crime. Sunny tells them that he killed George, but that's not the full truth. He says Lisa was involved and that the original plan to kill George was hers, but he takes the blame to protect her so she can give their child a better future. He tells the police everything clearly and says he's ready to face the consequences. He admits that he killed George for money and now accepts whatever punishment comes. When Lisa wakes up at home, she finds a letter from Sunny. In it, he writes that he's sacrificing his life for her and their child. He explains that the police had already started investigating her and he knew she would get caught, so he did this. He writes that sacrificing himself for her and their child felt like the right thing to do. He says he's going to the police station to confess and take full responsibility for George's murder. Sunny believes this decision is the safest and best choice for them and their child, so that she and their son can live a peaceful life. But we see that Lisa isn't affected by his sacrifice at all. She doesn't shed a single tear. Driven by her own selfishness and greed, she remains completely cold. She continues running her business without any hesitation. Using the money she earns, she lives a luxurious life. And in all of this, she acts like she's doing Sunny a favor. Every year, she sends him updates about the child and even shares pictures. But then comes a twist. The child in those pictures isn't actually Sunny's. This revelation shocks him and makes him realize the truth. The child actually belongs to the man who attacked George at the beginning of the story. The real story turns out to be something completely different. Lisa was never in love with Sunny. She used him to get rid of George. The entire plan was created by her and her lover so they could become rich. She never loved George and she never loved Sunny. She only used both of them for her own gain. In the end, the film shows that Lisa, the real mastermind, is now completely successful and safe, living the life she always wanted. She's living comfortably, almost like a queen. Meanwhile, Sunny, betrayed in love, is left to spend his life in prison, and that's how the story ends. Sunny's sacrifice wasn't meaningless, but he paid a heavy price for his love and trust. Can you even imagine what the next twist will be in a world of love, betrayal, and hidden schemes? If you want to uncover every mystery and every twist before anyone else, make sure you subscribe to MOVOX Range right now, because at the end of every story, there's always another secret waiting, and you won't want to miss it. After she